Okay, so we are now live, and let me turn on the audio part. We're going to be broadcasting this as well through um, uh, Clubhouse. So that way they'll give people the opportunity to see them both from there. And so if you guys out there are seeing us, go ahead and post in a comment for me that you guys are here and that you can see us live, and that'll be helpful there. Okay. Well, maybe. All right. So, guys, what you listening to, if you guys are hopping in here from Clubhouse, we are live on YouTube, but I have it plugged in. So, if you want to say hello to our YouTube audience, I mean, not our YouTube audience, but our Clubhouse audience, that'll be good as well.
Yes.
So, you can
Yeah.
say hello to them. They can hear you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Anjali. Thank you very much for being here tonight.
Okay, so if you guys are listening to us on Clubhouse, definitely it'll be a good time. If you want to go to YouTube, search Extraterrestrial with Roderick Martin, you will see us live from there. So, again, we do have, like I said, a few comments there. And so the people that are here on Clubhouse, we are live on YouTube. So I'm just going to broadcast the audio as well. And if any of you here on YouTube that have any questions, you definitely could do that. This is not going to be an interview format, guys. This is going to be us just having a chat. She has a message to show, to tell. And so Anjali is going to be telling her new message that she got from the ETs from there. So, Anjali, so first thing I just want to say, I want to thank you for being here live on Extraterrestrial Evidence. Of course, you and I have a friendship, so hey, rightfully so. But at the end of the day, tell us how things been going with you lately. Then we'll get right into the chat because I see we got a lot of exciting people want to know some things from there. And then every now and then you'll hear me address the crowd here on Clubhouse. So guys, you're listening to this on Clubhouse. We are live on YouTube. If you want to go there and you can see her personally now here on YouTube, but at the same time, we're broadcasting this in the room for Clubhouse audio as well, but encourage you to come to YouTube. So if you got questions, you can ask those questions and she'll get those as well. So, Anjali, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. I'm tired, very tired lately. I've really been fatigued, but that just kind of comes with the territory of chronic illness. You just every day just take one step at a time and move forward. But today is a very tired day, but I'm here and I'm very happy to be here.
Right. All right. So again, there's been a lot going over in the past. I see you're excited. I'm excited.
Say something. I wanted to talk about your birthday very quickly.
My birthday?
Yes, I know. That was the last time that
Yes, it was. Yeah, that was like March the 10th.
I was live with you. It was your birthday.
Yes, it was.
And Max and I remember you and I talking, and Max and I, we were going to send you
oh yes, I remember that. Yes,
right. Well, then, honestly, Roderick, we've gotten to know you more,
okay.
and we're extremely fond of you and find you to be just such an upstanding and trustworthy human.
Okay.
That we have a gift that we're not presenting it to you tonight, unfortunately, but it's something very special for your studio. And I just know how grateful we are and that we plan to actually show you that by gifting you something. So,
okay. So, are you want to show it now or
no?
Okay.
I want they will see it when you have it up in your studio, if you so choose.
What I don't. What do you mean? So choose. I'm gonna put it up right there. Right where this thing zooms out, so I got plenty of space to do that. And so once again, guys, if you're on Clubhouse, you're listening to us. We're live on YouTube. I just got the audio plugged in, so you guys can participate in hearing. But you definitely want to come to YouTube and do that. And eventually, if you got questions on Clubhouse, you can raise your hand. I'll bring you to the audience in a few moments, and then she can hear those questions as well. So. Anjali, let's just dive down. Look, you got your water. I got mine. Of course, I got my little cup here that I drink out of. But at the same time, so tell me, how do we get where we are now? So, we have a message. We're going to get right now into it. Then we'll get into some dialogue. You have a new message. You spoke with the ETs, or they spoke with you, right?
Yes.
And how do we get to that point? And how did you receive the message anyways? Let us start there.
Okay. Well, we've been having, I'm so sorry, I have to pull up something very quickly here. I have to first tell you that I did not prepare anything to talk today. I really want this to be very conversational.
Talk from the heart.
Yep, absolutely. So I don't have a speech to give or a monologue or anything like that. But I can just kind of share with you, what's been happening here. And I would say that it was, about 10 days ago, that contact really ramped up. And there was like a change in the mannerism of how I was contacted, and the way that it sounded and felt. Things were just beginning to change, and I was getting a little nervous about it. We've had some disruptions around our house.
Wow.
Yes, where we have seen multiple shadows coming in and out of whatever room I will be in multiple times throughout the day. We catch them around doorways, reflecting on the actual doors as they go through, and we see them together, and I was meditating one day, and we have carpet in the room that I was meditating in. We all know what it sounds like when someone walks on carpet, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm sitting there meditating. Max is not home. Our animals were all sequestered to their own rooms. Our animals have their own rooms. They have to.
Okay.
And I heard the very distinct sound of someone approaching the side of the mat that I was sitting on, and I opened my eyes. There was no one there. And so I said, hello, is there anyone there? No response. Truly felt, the room felt heavy, is the only way that I know how to explain it.
Okay.
I didn't receive any kind of contact, no message, no sight, nothing happening in the room. So I went back to my meditation, and shortly after, I heard the footsteps recede from the room that I was in.
Really? Okay.
So I had someone physically in the room with me that I could not see. Just a moment, please.
Okay.
I've had multiple instances of someone attempting to remote view into my home through my eyes.
Really? That's
Oh,
interesting.
yeah, absolutely. I can tell the difference between conscious contact with a higher being, of course, and conscious contact with the human mind. And multiple times recently, I have had someone trying to, a human trying to come in and see what I'm doing. And it doesn't last very long, thankfully, only a moment or two, a couple of seconds at the most, which is actually a really long time when you're in that state where you can feel someone else intruding. And, of course, I immediately, as quickly as I could, shut it down. But I thought it was really interesting, and I'm not really surprised.
Okay.
Let's see. So I had been meditating in the morning, and then Max and I were going for a ride. We had to go pick something up, and we were talking about consciousness, of course, and we were talking about the previous messages, and we're always reflecting and just trying to find any connection to current events and things that are happening in the world, other people that are experiencing things, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And I received a face, and it was the face of a gray that I have become very familiar with now. And it was simply like a hello. Okay. And then there was a sense of, it was like an introduction. Okay.
Okay.
Where I had this flash of a ship, and it was very, very quick. And it was followed by we have come to separate the wheat from the chaff. And,
Okay.
and the way that came in to my head was unlike anything I have ever experienced before. And I'm so glad to be able to show everyone, because I am really looking for other people who are having the experience that I am having. So if you are out there and you are listening to this, I ask you to please contact me. We will make sure that we have all the contact information that you'll need to be able to get a hold of me. But I am looking for the people in the network that the beings have shown me. So please, if you think you're one of those people at the end of the show tonight, please contact me. Okay, so with that said, the sound, first of all, my beings, when they speak to me, they show me, they show me their face, they send me a feeling, and then they send me an image that, like I've said before, has all the metadata in it that's just like automatically in my head all of a sudden. This was a very different experience. It came in above my right temple, if right in here, right
Wow.
about here. Okay. It was as if it felt almost like an electrical kind of, not a current, but an electrical sound. And it came through my face and out my jaw over here. Okay. That was how it felt. It was like it cut through my face and out my jaw. And it sounded almost computerized or electronic. It didn't sound, well, first the fact that it came in words and sound was really something. But the sound of it was, I don't even know how to replicate it. Except to say that it sounded as if you took a human voice and you ran it maybe through a computer, and tried to make it sound electronic-y. That's what it sounded like.
Wow.
And they introduced themselves as the Four.
Now the four there's originally 7, wasn't it? Or yeah, I remember, you were saying there was 7, or, kind of go into that, the 4.
Well, actually, we have quite a unique situation. It's either happening now or I can't tell if it's developing or if they're showing me that it's already like this. Okay.
Okay.
But trying to think of how best to say this. there are essentially like several groups of beings who are here, who are either here or on their way, but I believe that they are here now. And one of the groups is the council, okay, that we've discussed. So originally there, and this is my word, this is the word that I couldn't quite translate what they were telling me. I was saying, you know, everything from like an assembly, an association, an alliance. I was going through all the words I can think of. Okay. So it really doesn't matter if you want to call it a council, a federation, a group. I don't care. I call it a council because it made more sense to me that way. Okay. So this is my understanding. There are 7 members of a council.
Okay.
And this council is very old. That doesn't mean that everybody on the council is of the same age or the longevity as a member, okay? Representatives can change. You don't always have to have the same representatives, but you have the members, okay? Like the member state is a way that they show me. It's like a member state. And these 7 have for a very long time watched over the development of humanity. They have had interaction with us in numerous ways throughout our history. And we have understood that and translated that in numerous ways, including religiously, and, you know, deemed them gods, angels, and whatnot. And I know that's very inflammatory, and I realize that. This is what they're telling me. So this Council of 7 tasked with watching over humanity a very long time ago. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's human long time ago or extraterrestrial or higher being long time ago, but long time ago, they were there. There was a disagreement about how to proceed with humanity because we were not evolving in the way, you know, we were not progressing and evolving in the way that they wanted us to. There was some kind of disagreement. We were becoming extremely violent. And it's my understanding that there were 2 members of this council that left. Okay. And that's been some time ago. And so then there have been the remaining 5 who have kept their task of watching over us and seeing what we're doing. And I don't know what all that they are doing.
Gotcha.
And then more recently, in our human history, but I don't mean recent is in a lifetime. I get the sense that it's still been some time ago, but I can't quantify that for you. But because of how terribly violent we have become, there were 2 other members who left the council, and that left them with 3 members. And there were these other 2 went out there and are aligned in some way together now with the first 2 that had left. And so now they have formed this 4, and the beings were really clear that they were returning, and we had to prepare for that. We needed to elevate our consciousness, realize our oneness and our origin, that we are more than the human biology that we inhabit, and that the entire message, which we can go over, we can break it down, little by little, but this is just the overview. And part of their message to me when I was with them in the mountain was, there was a very big sense of urgency. They're coming. Everybody you need to remember who you are. You need to remember what you're doing here, and you need to prepare for transcendence. And it was also made clear to me that not everyone would make it. And I didn't understand what that meant at first. It appears to have something to do with our conscious awareness and some kind of divide that is going to take place within our race based on our openness to the sanctity of life, essentially, the right for other living things to live without us thinking that we have the right to take that life away from them. Every single expression of life is an expression of the source having an experience. And we have forgotten that. And because of that, we have become incredibly violent and are causing, terrible disruption in other places. And in a way that they're saying it's like here, but not here, here, but not here. It's like, I'm so glad to finally be able to do this. I remember trying to explain this in our very first interview when I said, well, where are we causing, this disruption? Where is this happening? And they were showing me, well, everything is here, but not here. Like everything is right here, right now. Which was, incredibly mind-blowing. So I don't really know where to go, other than to say that, okay, so back to the three, there we go, the three groups that are here. So the council is here. All members of the council are here on Earth. They're in our atmosphere, they're above our atmosphere, they're here. The four are here. They've made it clear they are here. They are not only above our ionosphere, they're here on the ground, okay? And then there is a third group. And this was what was like really just eye-opening to me. They show me the earth, and then they show me like it's surrounded by beings who have come to bear witness to the events that are going to be taking place on Earth. And it's like they have a vested interest, and it's in the best interest of humanity. But they are here as observers, almost like a UN, and the UN observers that will go in to countries, that are in civil war and other kinds of unrest. It's like that. They're here to bear witness to what's happening. And I've been waiting to tell you this, Roderick.
Well, then I am all ears and microphone, and there's nobody here but you and I, right? Just a joking, but yeah, we have people here. But and before you go any further, I know this is hard for you. I understand how difficult it is. It's definitely coming out, because we're going to get different types of comments here tonight, I'm sure. But for the most part, I just want to tell you, I appreciate you. We all appreciate you being here. And we know it takes a lot of courage, especially from where you come from, being a former defense intelligence officer to now sharing this experience in public. And so therefore, we are here with you and support you. So that's my message, and from others as well, I'm sure.
Thank you. Thank you. That's so sweet. I really appreciate it. It is hard. It's scary.
I know it could be. Yeah.
Every day I wonder, will this be the day that someone will discover my identity and show up at my door, or find my daughter at work. I just, so many things go through my head. But so those things come and go, and they're very fear-based. I have to be honest. But I can't help but just want to be safe and to protect my family, and to protect Wayne and Trisha's family, and to have, everyone be safe while we all explore what's happening. Not just to me in this contact that I have, but the message and contact of so many people around the world. I'm not the first, I'm not the last, I'm not the only one happening like right now. I get so many messages, but people are so afraid to come forward and tell others that they are having this same experience. And what we need is more people to feel like it is a safe environment for them to come forward and tell people their story and their experience, because we really need to hear their message, and we need to hear it from multiple people.
I agree with you 100%. And that's one of the things that when Extraterrestrial Evidence, the clubhouse, and just to create a safe place, and it has done that. Yeah, we have a lot of people that come forward that can't talk to their family or can't share with their coworkers or friends because of ridicule, or just being able to make fool of, or just people don't believe.
That's right.
And so, but there's a lot. We get a lot of them. I get emails. And even I, as an investigator, there are sometimes when we investigate certain things, you wonder how far deep you want to go because of safety. And I'm sure that everybody that's listening understands taking care of their family, self-preservation. And so, but we're here. We got your back as far as what we can do. Right here, we got you. And so, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who want to know specifically the message itself. What do you think from it? And is there some type of agenda? When I say agenda, outside of whatever the message means, but or is there anything else that you may be hearing, but you just haven't had any clarity to it? May need a little more clarification. Besides, I think you said the shaft in the wheat. But other than that, so let's dive into, because I'm sure we got tons of people that want to ask you a question here. We got people listening, a lot of people on Clubhouse, so I'm gonna probably fire that up in a little bit. Let them raise their hand, and they can hear you and ask questions. And then we got people here that's in this room listening to us live that actually can post comments, and we'll go through some of those as well. So let me step back out of the way and let you continue. But I'm sure people are just wanting, just dive straight to it. Just hit them. What is it?
Sure. A couple of things. First of all, I found, like I said, I found that third group as a former defense professional, I found it the most interesting part. You'd think all of this is very interesting, but there was something about it that I was unprepared for. And one of they keep showing me a ship.
Okay.
And this ship it's like it's alive. Okay, first of all, it's tremendous in size. And it feels, when they show it to me, it feels so incredibly heavy and dense.
And when you say size, how big? This is my investigator's question, so you guys got to excuse me, but give us a reference point. How big when you say this ship is big?
I'd say it could rival our moon. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm getting big, but more than big. Okay, it is massive, but more than big, what I'm trying to really get across here is how heavy and dense it feels.
Okay.
You know how, you know what an anvil is, and have you ever seen an actual anvil? Because they're huge and they're just solid. You know, they're solid metal, and
Right.
you need equipment to be able to pick them up. You just, as you know, we just can't. They're incredibly heavy. I don't have any idea how heavy. They're just incredibly heavy. So imagine an anvil, and imagine like squeezing it, squeeze until it's just so dense. Just you're still the same matter, okay?
Still the same, yeah. Okay.
And it's dense until it's so small, it's like a BB. That's how this feels, but it's huge. And it's heavy, so heavy. And it's like it's alive. They show me, it almost looks like there's an opening, okay? And it's almost like there is atmosphere that's kind of leaking out, okay? It's kind of like misty or foggy. It's not blowing out. There's not clouds billowing out. It's nothing, you know, dramatic and like that. This is a very subtle, like wispy that comes from the bottom of this. And this is crazy. It's like there are tree roots or some kind of vine or organic matter they're showing me like hanging, like it's growing. And they live inside of this. And it's where they all live. They don't have a planet. It's like this is their planet.
Okay.
And I don't know what to do with that. You know, I mean, it feels so old. It doesn't feel like anything else. Okay. There's something about this that is like, okay, the only way I know to say it, I'm just going to say it. And I'm sorry if it sounds crazy. It's the only way I know how to say it. It's like the ancients are here. That's what it's like. The ancients are here.
Really? That's interesting.
Like these are the oldest beings. They're here to witness what's happening. But they're not just here to witness what humanity is going to do. It's like they're here to witness how the four are going to handle their part in what needs to happen.
Now, do you sense there is any type of timeline for this, or, you know, because you did mention that some will and some won't be able to transcend. Am I using the word right? And is there a timeline, or
I have no idea. Well, there is, because they're saying, you know, that we're coming to an end of like a cycle, an era. You know, I get this feeling of coming to a, you know, like a turning over, you know, like coming to an end. And it's like there's going to be a separation based on, oh, okay, so this is like some kind of human biotechnology that splinters of consciousness animate.
okay?
But we were not, these bodies were not created for a consciousness. They are created for consciousness to experience. But it is some type of human biotechnology. And I don't understand what that means, but it's almost like maybe there's something about our individual capacity. That it's not, nothing looks like like this concept of death that we have, okay, which they've said there's just no such thing of. It's completely human idea that we came up with when we forgot what we're doing here. Okay,
Okay.
That's how I may not be saying that right, but it's something like that. Okay, that and so it's not going to be a separation of death of body, release of consciousness, but some other type of separation where those who are able to transcend, move into, they show me like a different place, the here but not here. It's almost like a higher dimension, like we're moving up. And some people won't. And that's where the separation occurs.
From the wheat message, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not that anyone, I mean, personally, I don't like that message. I don't even like to watch that video. I think I've seen it once through, and I haven't watched it again.
Now, which video now?
The video where they asked me to come forward and give their message.
Okay.
Yes, earlier this week. But so there was okay, so we have these three groups who are here now, and I feel like that's an escalation, personally. Maybe I should stop feeling that way, but I feel like it's an escalation, and we have perhaps the oldest entity that we can conceptualize. I mean, I can't even. I wish, who are here, and they want nothing but the best turnout for humanity. They want as many of us as we can to transcend. We have to absolutely stop this violent tendency that we have. I mean, they're showing me non-violence, 100% non-violence. We never resolve anything in a violent way. And because it's that violence and our development of technology that is causing the most of the issue that we're having, because of this here but not here, and the fact that we are sharing space with other beings that we can't see, but we are using technology that can disrupt it. So it's like move across barriers and have like horrible consequences. And so we're not just, when we bomb things, we're not just bombing our humans and all of the life that we know that we share the planet with, that we're aware of, but we're doing some really horrific damage to other places. And that's really what's just become intolerable. We have to elevate our human consciousness and evolve this race specifically so that it can continue to exist without destroying itself, without destroying others, and without needing this kind of interruption from higher beings. So we're just being offered a choice here. Every single one of us is being offered a choice, and we just have to decide, well, what do you want to do? Do you really want to hold on to, all of these human constructs and that we have, and fight your neighbor and be divided as a race and and, you know, be so patriotic about your country that you're ready to go kill anybody overseas just because they're different and just because somebody in a, you know, in our capital told us to. All of it has to stop. It has to stop. This is a very important message that the four have shown repeatedly, that they were not very happy that I chose not to say, but I was so just distressed by we have come to separate the wheat from the chaff. And I felt like there was a compulsion or a compelling that was going on that was a little bit too much for me, where I was really starting to feel less like myself, and I wasn't liking that. So I had to cut video. But this is what they wanted to say, and that is they want to say that our world leaders need to essentially eradicate our borders. That
Really?
if humanity ever wants to leave this planet and join other races out there beyond our own atmosphere, we absolutely 100% have to unite as humanity on this planet, and we have to eradicate our borders and all of these artificial barriers that we have and progress as one. And if you can't do that, then you're probably going to be separated. And I don't, that's all I've got.
So my question is, unconfuse me a little bit.
Okay.
We talk about, or you talk about there were 7 and then we got 4. Yes. Although the premises of this is world peace.
Yes.
The other 3, are they for peace? So
the council is nothing but love and compassion.
Okay.
And think of it like tending a garden with love. That's what
I'm just trying to see what made them have a division. And of course, they're a higher consciousness than we are, but not sticking together as 7, but 4 and 3. You get what I'm saying? So, my confusion of that.
I don't know. It is confusing. I don't understand. My sense is that this is exactly, that maybe the division wasn't unplanned.
Okay.
That something about it seems like everything is just right. I don't have any way to explain that, but it's like, oh, everything is in order. Like the table is set. That's what it's like. Like that's the image I get. The table is set. Well, nobody's afraid of a set table, right? I mean, that's where we all come together to have a meal. Well, the table is set, and we have to decide: are we going to dine together?
Interesting.
Hey, Roderick, can I just jump in for a second?
No, you cannot. No, you cannot just jump in.
No, sorry.
No, you just can't just, we're having a private conversation here and you just don't jump in. That's Alan, of course, No, I'm just kidding. So, go ahead, Alan.
I'm just saying.
I'm teasing, so I'm teasing.
I know, but you're anyway, it's fine. No, Anjali, your message is great, but you're inside the government. You've worked with the government. Oh, shouldn't you be saying this to the leaders, the people that you were connected with? Those are the people that are making the wars and building the guns and the nuclear weapons. I mean, most people want peace. So How can you get to them?
Okay, well, I have actually contacted multiple people that I worked with previously, and I have told them my story. So I am doing that, and I'm doing it right.
What happened though? What did they say to you?
Oh, they believed it, and they said, just keep telling it. We support you.
And for your listeners on YouTube, this is a live feed from Clubhouse app. So the question that you're hearing is people on Clubhouse that is wired into this. So they'll be able to ask questions. So you we'll be able to hear some of those questions live, and then we'll take some questions from you guys in the chat. Not everybody's, but we'll just, at random, I'll pull some up from there. But go ahead, Alan. I'm sorry.
No, it just seems like there's more. I would expect a bigger response, like a meeting of the generals and like getting something bigger together than just keep doing it. It seems not enough.
But you would think, Alan, though, when she said that, they want to break down all the borders, that ain't in the agenda for our military or countries, want to have. Well, we hear rumors of one world order, but, we're still talking about money and power here. So I don't think they want to listen to that message and decide to go forward with it, or even disseminate it out if they heard it. I'm sure they might have.
Yeah, but that's the problem, Roderick. That's what we're dealing with. That type of thinking.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree with you on that. Okay. So what we're going to do here. So Alan, I'm tell you what we're going to do. Oh, go ahead, Anjali.
I wanted to, answer Alan a little bit on that.
Please do.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, Alan. I don't know what people are doing, what those people are doing with that information. I will say that, personally for me, it took me 3 years to have the courage and a lot of prompting by the higher beings to come forward before I was willing to come forward. And truly it was just a perfect storm of timing for me. When I thought, I have nothing to lose at this point. And it's, my obligation to come forward and say, what I know now, which at the beginning, even, in March, when I first started communicating, I was waiting to be given more information to go forward. And I had hundreds of people asking, well, what now? And what's next? What are they going to say? And I didn't know. And I guess that's one thing that I want to stress is that I don't always know. I know what I have been allowed to know, I think. So.
Well, that's fair enough.
So the others who I've I don't know what they're doing with it in their personal lives, or in their professional lives. I would suspect that they are probably pretty hesitant to come forward, even if they believe it themselves, especially if they are, still working in the field. It could definitely, it's career suicide. It's just career suicide. I mean, even with all of the disclosures that's happening, you start saying things like this to the wrong people, and you can have your clearance pulled pretty quickly.
Okay. Well, are you ready to take some questions? We're not going to be here no longer than maybe another 30 minutes or so. So are you ready? Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is there's one of the comments there at the bottom, and
Logan.
Yep, from Logan. And for those of you, we'll give a play-by-play on Clubhouse. Logan made a comment and says, Anjali, you are pretty, or you're pretty.
Thank you. Very precious. Right.
Okay. So at that point, we will do that. Now, what I'm going to do, Tiffany is not here today. She may be watching, and so she's going to watch how badly I miss her. Because I'm gonna have to coordinate between Clubhouse and bringing some of these people up, monitoring the audio there, as well as taking some of the comments here and questions live from the chat here. So, but I got the skill. So, we're gonna pull this off, and maybe somebody in the audience of Clubhouse is pretty good at moderating, and I may bring one of them up, and they can help me with this until we get this done. So. If you're on Clubhouse, you're listening, and I'm going to go ahead. If you raise your hand, I will bring you up. Just make sure you know that this is being recorded, of course. And then at the same time, too, mute your mic when you come up. And so if there anyone that has any questions here on YouTube, go ahead and post your questions, and then we will choose a few and let her go after it from there. So let me see here. So I'm already having issues with this Clubhouse of bringing hands up. So yeah. Oh, there we go. So I got a few. Let me bring them up. All right. So we have, let's see. All right. So we got Sean. Bridget, go ahead and if you can mute out your mic. And so we have Sean. Sean, if you got a question for Anjali, go ahead and ask the question.
All right, thanks. Yeah, Anjali, I just wanted to ask you, given I came in for the tail end of this, but given what I've heard and given what I think, where I think this information is and where it's coming from, what is your recommendation, or what is the sources of recommendation on how to accelerate the process, for the human race to go towards this kind of positive end?
Okay, that's a really good question. I can only tell you what has happened in my own life, and so here we go. When I was first given this message after I met the beings in the mountain, I went through this process. First, I wrote down their message, and which was that humans have to change the way that we communicate, because our language is divisive and ego binding, and it causes more confusion and division than it does unity, especially when we don't all even speak the same language. But all of us have the capacity for speaking in conscious contact with one another and with higher beings. And so they are asking us to essentially meditate, and that they contact us through the subtleties in meditation.
Are they talking to you right now? Is that where this is coming from?
Yes, I'm so sorry. I was trying.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wow, that's very attentive of him, and he can't even see you, and we're watching. And yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. They said that they were going to be here tonight. They want us to think about everything from the water that we drink, and that we can affect the actual molecules of the water, which they say is a living, it's alive. It has life. It has a consciousness that we can affect with the way in which we interact with it. And they use water as an example of that. The work of Emoto, I know it's been controversial, but they're showing that this was important work. It was a demonstration of manifestation. With our thoughts, we create the world. With our thoughts, we make this world and this experience. And that was the importance of what Emoto was doing, was that he could capture that in the microscope. And so they want us to think about our relationship with water. They want us to think about the fact that water makes up 80% of the human adult body, and 80% of our Earth that we are living on, this large living organism that we have a relationship with. And so they want to think about how the things that we're thinking about in this world how those thoughts affect even the water, not only within our own bodies and the bodies of people around us, but the water on the earth, that we're changing things with our actual thoughts. They are becoming manifest. And so we have to be aware of that. They're saying you have to be aware that you are creating your experience with your very thoughts. That the idea of again, what you think is happening here is not, it's not, they want to help us to understand that. They want to help us to understand our consciousness and our connection to one another. And so part of that, they're saying again, the water is alive. The water is alive. Even though at the same time they're saying, but maybe I'm not saying it right, because they're also then going, but there's no such thing as life and death. There's no such thing. And it's almost like this circle they're showing, okay, like a cycle.
Okay.
But so maybe what I'm supposed to say is water is conscious. Water is conscious. Like these bodies have consciousness. There's a consciousness in water.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, Sean, I appreciate the question. And we're just going to have everybody have one question.
Yeah, no worries, definitely.
Yeah. And so what we're going to do too, because Anjali, I do believe that this message needs to get out. And so, of course, Alan does a show on Wednesdays. And so we're going to set up something for you to do one there as well, if that's okay with Alan. Alan, you there? Is that all right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll probably can set that up either coming up Wednesday or the next Wednesday. He does one every Wednesday. Okay. Well, all right, Alan, we'll make that happen. So what I'm going to do now is pull up a question from YouTube, and then you could then we'll flip back and forth here. So let's go with this one's going to be pretty quick and easy, and then I'll go to another one right after this. But here it is from Peter. So you can look at that. And for those of you on Clubhouse, Peter's asking, is she familiar with Barbara Lamb, and does her research jive with understanding of what's happening? And I think you have an answer with Barbara. Go ahead. So you can make that answer.
I met Barbara on my second interview on Clubhouse. So I am familiar with her. I've heard her speak. But I'm not familiar with the body of her work and discipline, meaning I haven't perused it well enough to tell you whether or not, it jives with my understanding. I feel like every time I listen to her, I'm learning. She is such an amazing woman with just a well of knowledge that I try to draw from. Every time yes, she and I have spoken. And we have a conversation planned for this Wednesday, and we are another conversation, and we are going to be setting up a hypnoregression, and I'm very excited about that. She always gives me so much insight, and I'm just really curious to see where that goes. So I'm not really sure if her body of work jives with what my understanding comes from me trying to translate what I'm getting.
Absolutely.
And I haven't tried to really compare that to anything else yet. So. Okay.
I'm going to bring up another question here on YouTube, and then we're going to get over here to Clubhouse to Bridget. She'll be next. So Bridget, be ready in just a second. So, and I'm just picking some at random here. And this one is from Feed Beast. There's his question, as you can see there. What is your perspective with religion after these experiences, and have that changed the way you think about your faith?
That is a really
good question. Yeah, I know.
Whew, it's a big one too. Leave that up there for me.
Okay. All right.
What the beings showed me was that they show me a difference between dogma and spirituality. Okay.
Okay.
And spirituality is when we're on that spiritual quest, that is a quest for conscious awareness. It's a search for self. And
Okay.
so we are trying to reveal our own selves. Because we have this false idea that we are disconnected from the source, but we are not. We are already connected, and we just have to. It's the ego. It's like this. It's
Okay.
like this world is so dense here. They're showing like that Earth is very dense, and I don't know what dense means, but it's like they're showing like it's dense, it's heavy here. Like their bodies have a hard time here. It's so heavy, and the gravity is just, it's heavy. That or not. It's not gravity. I don't even know how to explain it. So I'm going to take that back. They're saying, no,
Okay.
not gravity. It's like, so essentially what I understand is that a lot of our human divinely inspired texts are a compilation of divine inspiration and human translation and ego. Like they're saying that it's like it's a mesh, that it's not that everything it's close, but it's not quite. It's we attribute we have a misunderstanding about our origin. And the source of consciousness. They show that Christ had like a very high conscious awareness. They show that he traveled and studied with like the ancient ways. They're showing like the ancient ways, and that he was like a mystic, like a Jewish mystic.
Wow.
Was in conscious contact, and who did perform. He performed acts of manifestation. That he reached a level of conscious awareness that he could consciously control his manifestations. And they want us to aspire to that, to conscious awareness of our manifestation. Because right now, when we're manifesting without that, we manifest destruction is what they're showing. Like manifestation without an understanding of the spiritual seed causes destruction. And that when we manifest from an understanding of our source, that we create. And we create instead of destroy. And so like the Christ created. He never destroyed. And that's the kind of elevated consciousness that they want us to all strive towards. And I use this because they're showing lots of prophets that have had contact. They show that we've called them by all sorts of things throughout human history, and that the further that we get away from our understanding of our source of origin, then the less of an understanding. How do I put this? The further that we get away from our understanding of the source, they more that we tend to revere higher conscious beings as gods.
Wow.
They're saying that that's destructive because the human race can get to that. We can evolve to that level of conscious awareness and continue to progress our species if we so choose.
Wow, that is powerful. Okay, so like I said, we have maybe about 20 something minutes left. So Bridget on Clubhouse, you're live here on YouTube and you have a question for Anjali. Go ahead.
Thank you, Roderick, for bringing me up. And Anjali, thank you very much for stepping into your courage to share all of this with everyone on these platforms. And mine is not so much of a question as validation. I just want to honor you and honor everything that is coming through you right now and speak as a starseed who's been communicating with my star family for many years. All of the things that you're saying are things that I've perceived and received as well. And I just want to validate you right now and give you that positive encouragement that your channeling is beautiful and the messages are coming through loud and clear. And I honor you and I thank you.
Thank you.
I am Bridget and I'm complete.
All right. Thank you, Bridget. That was so beautiful of you. And hope that, that everyone that comes forward, sees this in a kind way, because we do not want this to be a hostile environment. And it hasn't been. I think people are receiving this great. And we have a great club here with Clubhouse and as well as everything else. And people like Bridget and others and Alan and just, from Sean, all the people that's already asked questions tonight are just wonderful people. So I'm going to take another question off of YouTube here and I'll let you guys on Clubhouse know what it is. So we got a lot of comments. And so let me pull this one off first. And let's go with, I'm just scrolling through here and see if we could,
I'm sorry. I just have to say real quick because they're like really being persistent here because of where I left it with. They're saying that you can be like us. You can be like us. Okay. They want us to understand that what the separation that's occurring, it's not going to be a negative thing. It's just that it's going to propel that the end of those two things is going to end up being nearly two different species near the end. So no one, there's no extinction that's going on. They're like showing like two, but one's going to be here still and the other is going to be evolving in a higher dimension.
All right. So here's a quick question from Chip. And so I'll read that out or yeah.
So Chip.
Yeah, Chip is saying, so great to see you. So you know who Chip is, I guess?
Yes, yeah? I know Chip.
Oh, okay. Well, I just chose him. All right. But great. So his question for those of you on Clubhouse is a statement first is great to see you, Anjali. And he says, have you been physically with the beings any other time than in the mountain?
Yes, I have. They have told me that they have been visiting me my entire life. One of the most remarkable things, I, of course, have shared all of this with my mother. She's 70, and, we have almost 50 years of history between us. And we were talking just recently about an event that occurred when I was, 3 or 4 years old. And I've remembered this my entire life, and she and I have always talked about it every few years. I grew up in the South, and when one night, there was a very large UFO that was parked right over our house, and we lived in the suburbs at that time. We hadn't like moved out into the country or anything. We lived right there in a neighborhood. They said that I was with them that night. They have shown me the moment of contact with them. They returned me into the house. It happened very late at night. When they returned me to the house, I was up on the couch looking out the front window, and everybody in the neighborhood was outside, and you could see all of these lights that had lit up the neighborhood. And that's my memory of the people outside, is just them being colored by all of the lights, and how I could see part of the ship that was above our house. And I was so excited and happy, and not afraid at all. And they came to me throughout my childhood, which is why I am so eager to get my hypnoregression with Barbara. And let's see, multiple times in the Mojave.
Wow. Okay.
They have come here. They've told me that we've had like it's almost like a parade of beings that come through, kind of curious. They're very curious, because now that I'm doing this, there's all kinds of beings that are just, they want to come and see the human that's, doing this stuff. And our animals react quite interestingly to it. And sometimes they come with smells. Sometimes it's just sounds. It's very interesting. Multiple beings, interdimensional. And they are like the beings that I communicate with. They can move in between dimensions. They're not, it's not what we think it is. But they're showing me that they can be very far away and but right here at the same time.
Wow. In fact, Alan, isn't Brent saying that there was a different message with that now? Or Alan, you there?
Different message than what you're saying?
Well, she's talking about, she was saying that how the extraterrestrials interdimensional, and I was saying that the other day, wasn't it Grant Cameron? I'm sorry, talking about.
Yeah, Grant Cameron. Yeah.
What was he was saying is?
Well, he's saying it's sort of what she's saying in a sense. We think of them as aliens or interdimensional, or what label we're putting on whatever this phenomenon is, but it's really none of that, according to Grant and other people. It's just how we can relate to that in a limited way, right? But it's much bigger in a sense than we can even imagine, I would say.
Wow. Okay. So, all right. So we're going to take
definitely what they show is that it's the best way that I know how to explain it. I just don't have the words.
Right. We don't have the words as human beings. We have not evolved to a place where we could meet them on the level that they really exist. I get that's what you're saying, Anjali, in a way.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So, Kevin, you are on Clubhouse. So we're going to unmute your mic, or you can, and go ahead and ask one question if you don't mind.
Thank you, Roderick. Anjali, we've spoken on and off. I don't know if you are able to keep track of the different platforms we've spoken on, but I think as a parent, I have a question.
I'm sorry, who?
It seems like
his name is Kelvin, so he said he's spoken with you. Kevin,
I've spoken to you on Twitter, and I've spoken to you on Reddit as well.
Yes, I know exactly who you are, dear. Hello, Kevin.
thank you again for spreading your message. And I have kind of a question. I hope it doesn't come off as disbelief. But you say that they are speaking through you to deliver this message.
Yes.
As a parent, I liken it to like me telling the kids, like, go talk to your mom. But even further than that, it's like they're almost going to find a neighbor down the universe and having them speak to us. If this is making sense.
I'm not
to say, you know, you need to act, to say like we need to act right, I guess. We need to stop misbehaving. As a parent, I would, if our kids are misbehaving, sometimes I jokingly go, you know, go see your mother.
Yeah.
Or she'll say, you know, go talk to your dad.
Yeah.
So it's almost as if they're saying they're using the neighbor down the block, Anjali, to talk to the kids, to tell them to behave right. Why wouldn't they speak to us directly? I know that would be a question that a lot of people would ask, is why wouldn't they just show themselves or speak to us directly and say, you guys got to act right?
Mm-hmm. Well, they are speaking to us directly. They say that not everyone is listening. Like they're saying that they're showing that people have to take that first that leap in our oneness. In like the fact that we're all connected and have come from one source, that we have to, that it's almost like they're showing like fake it till you make it is the only other way I know how to say it. It's like they want us to, and I know this isn't a direct question, Kevin, but it's an answer. Okay. And they're giving it right now. And they're saying that they want us to you have to take that leap and like fake it until you make it. So believe, it's like the thing maybe, but that I always explain or say the difference between knowing something and understanding. They want us to know it. Okay. And then they want us to, even if we don't fully embrace it and understand, they want us to live like it anyway. Okay. Because it's in that living that the awareness of our consciousness will continue to, it's like we unlock our own prison in our mind. It's like that's what they're showing. Like we begin to unlock our own consciousness. And they're saying that a lot of consciousnesses they're so bound, they're so tight and knotted right now that it's like they're just not hearing, and that the contact of like a visual contact would be terrifying and met with violence. They're saying like massive contact just suddenly without preparation will lead to misunderstanding and will lead to violence. And they don't want to have to defend themselves against us, because this is going to happen.
Wow, that is amazing. So Anjali, we have two other people on Clubhouse that will ask him questions, so that will be done here.
I just want to tell Kevin, I'm sorry, Roderick. It's just, you know, Kevin is very special to me. Hello, Kevin.
I thought I was special.
You are. Goodness gracious, you know that already. But I want Kevin to know.
I'm just kidding. But go ahead, Kevin. I mean, yeah, he's listening.
And I want Kevin to know that that I hear the questions within his questions, and we have a lot, you know, he and I, to discuss about his own process. And I know I haven't forgotten you. I just want you to know that. So there's.
All right now. Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Anjali. I know you're busy. I know I'm not the only one in your bubble, so it's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick another question here from YouTube, and it's Josh Lang here, and he says, for those of you who are on Clubhouse, may I ask, do the higher beings identify themselves by name, and as we would call in ourselves humans? In other words, if we reach out in conscious contact, should we refer to them by a certain name?
You know, that is such a great question. And I have struggled with how to refer to them because I have not been given any names.
Okay.
I know them by their faces and their feelings. Like I know them by the image, you know, the face that they send and the image and all of the things that accompany it. There's, you get like a, I don't know, like a resonance, you know, a vibration, I don't know how to explain it. You feel the energy and it feels, you know, unique. But I have not been given any names. I have always just referred to them as higher beings. And when I have reached out in, you know, in attempts for conscious contact, it has been by setting the intention. It doesn't matter what we call them, because those are just human words that don't mean anything. Not, you know, to them, it's our expression that means something, but the word itself is immaterial. And so it's more of what is the intention when you are reaching out. Perhaps you could say something like, I am pure awareness am I. In pure awareness, I reach out to higher beings who are reaching out to me, something like that. And maybe, you know, build a mantra around whatever intention it is that you could be trying to send out, and then be mindful of the response.
Wow, that's a great answer, and so I'm sure Josh appreciate that. And real quickly, for everyone who's listening, you know, I'm not doing a reset here. We got, you know, maybe 10, maybe 15 minutes top left, so we got two more people here that we're going to take questions from Clubhouse, and then of course I'll do a couple more here on YouTube. For those of you to know that, you know, of course, Extraterrestrial Evidence, we do have a podcast. We do have this YouTube channel. If you hear for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. We got a lot of things coming up. And another thing that I want you guys to consider to do, we have a new 800 number where you can call us directly, talk to us. But the most important is get on our text list for alerts. There are some great things coming down the pipeline that you want to be aware of, and not always Clubhouse or some of these have the notifications in real time. Sometimes it's hard to find these rooms and channels. And so, although I didn't text out today to people that's already on the list because most of them knew where we was coming on anyway, they had to have seen the ad of this particular live. But for those of you listening, the number is 888-493-9998. Text the word UFO, and it will put you on our VIP alert list, because there's a lot of people that's going to be on Clubhouse doing audio that's not going to be on our show because they can't come in those hours. But when we go live immediately, I'll send that text out. We have already had over 100 plus people that have signed up already. And with a group of 12,000 people, I think we need to do a better job of alerting these people for what's going on. And Clubhouse is working on that as well too. We all know they're still in beta, and they're doing an awesome job with this app, which will be on Android soon as well. So once again, and then at the end, you will give out contact information. They can already see your Twitter, which is here on screen for those of you. And then if you're on Clubhouse, you can find her profile, which is Anjali, and then you can message her as well, because she's ready to really dive into helping people. And real quickly, you're going to be, if I'm not mistaken, you're going to open up a meditation center in your city, correct? And I'm excited. You know, I'm flying down. And so, you know, I got the invite. So I'm gonna come and I'll bring my own food so I don't eat you guys out of house and home. And I'm not. And really I'm gonna
Well,
be right here in front of everybody. I'm working on something. I wanna, you know, get a little more sexy back so you guys can hold me accountable. Everybody on here live, y'all hearing me say that. Give me a year from now and take a look at the video and be like, wow, this dude did it. And so with that being said, let's go to Leon on Clubhouse. And oh, wait a minute, I did say something about the meditation center. I didn't. So
yeah.
let's go there. Yeah.
Okay. So Max and I are, you know, we're fortunate enough that we have a home that is it's been very uniquely built using sacred geometry, and so it was built with intention.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Very interesting and long story with that would take up a whole podcast. So, but anyway, and we have, it's just he and I, and we have a lot of beautiful space. And I thought that it was my own idea, but the beings are saying, yes, you know, do this meditation center. And so we're still going to live here, but we're going to just transform this into a meditation center where people will come and will go through our experiences. If we want to share, you know, those sorts of things, we will have meditation practices. We have different areas around the property that will be available, and we just want to we want to create a place where people who are exploring conscious contact would like to come and meditate with us. And so we would do it in a very family setting where, you know, we would all dine together. Everybody would do chores and help to make things happen. And we would do it for brief, you know, probably start for maybe 3 or 4 days at a time to begin with. And so we're hoping maybe next year we'll have that up and running. So
Well, that is great. And that's great. And then you also are working on a book, which I think you should. And so when do we expect to see that?
Well, I hope that it will be out in October. I have to tell you, I'm having a really tough time with it because now they have really upticked their communication with me. And it's kind of, I feel like I've been writing this book, explaining like the history of my contact experiences. And now I have all these messages that are coming in, and I just think, wow, is this important? And I know that it is. I just don't even know how to wrap my head around it to put it down in paper. It's like I'm receiving these updates and having these new people come in and introduce, and I'm just thinking, how in the world can I get this written down in a way that, you know? So it's a slow process, but I will just cautiously say October.
All right. Well, just for everybody know that our dear friend Alan that's here, his book is coming out. And actually, I think May 5th is going to be a book release day.
May 4th.
May 4th. Did I mess that up? Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I'm calling it World Contact Day, May 4th. May the 4th be with you. And you can order that on Amazon. So,
and I'm holding the book up here for those on YouTube. You can see it. I got my copy. Beautiful book. Yeah. And we're going to do something for Alan. I want everybody to participate. That we're going to order some books from him and really make that day a special day.
And it's a good introduction to the whole topic that Anjali's talking about. If you have people who don't understand any of this and you want them to start to get the bigger picture, that's why I wrote this along with the top 10 ET experts, UFO experts in the world, Linda Moulton Howe, Whitley Strieber, Nick Pope, Grant Cameron, they've all contributed a chapter to kind of round out the picture, because no one has the single truth. There's the reader, the people listening to this, we all have to form our own truth or our own way to relate to this. That's what I feel.
All right.
So that's
Well,
what I've done.
all right. Thank you, Alan. So Leon, you're up. And I know Sean have already asked a question, so we'll go to Matthew next, last. But Leon, go ahead and unmute your mic. You're on Clubhouse. They're listening on YouTube.
Hey, everyone. My question is, you mentioned that you met the beings or the Greys, and I'm very curious as, have you met their leader or their soldier or guard? And when I say leader, I'm not talking about the council. I'm really curious. And if you did, can you specifically describe what they look like? Thanks.
Okay. Hi, Leon. I have not met someone who is showing me that they are the leader. They have shown that the ancients, like, I don't know how else to say it, okay? Because again, like, human words are just I don't know, maybe there's a human language out there that could encompass this. I don't speak it. So it's the ancients is the only way that I know how to put it. They are here, and they're the oldest is what they're saying. It's like these are the oldest, and I don't see them, but I can feel like I've only seen the ship so far. The other beings that I saw in the mountain, apparently I remember 3 tall whites who were there. I would characterize like two males and a female, all just about the same height, maybe somewhere between over 6 feet tall, and had very light, nearly luminescent skin. Their hair was very light as well, extremely humanoid. Like, other than the color of their skin and hair, they really just and the fact that they're very tall, and but they look very human. And yeah, their faces are very human. And then there was a small gray, which is the one that I first walked up to. And then there is the lavender being that is somewhere, over 7.5 feet tall, I would say, very tall, with a bulbous kind of head that comes around like this. It's very bulbous, but there's a face it's not human, but I mean, there are the eyes. The face is shaped differently, and I don't know exactly how to explain it. And the body is tall, and thin, but it's a larger body than the others. I mean, it's very tall, so the frame is a little wider. There is another gray there that's taller. I've seen lots of small grays, and I almost think that they might be children. There's a being that is like nearly complete light. That is like, if you could, it's like a peachy, yellowy, bright light, like encapsulated within like a humanoid frame. There's no hair, but very humanoid and very humanoid face, but complete light. It's almost like there's like a membrane. I don't know how else to explain it. And they're very bright and beautiful, incredibly beautiful. Yeah,
No, great answer. How much better can we get, right? I mean, you did an awesome job there. And so we got 1 and 1, and let's go with here. This is from Rolo 100, Rolo 100. And his question is, for when do we need to prepare for transcending? When do we need? So for those of you on Clubhouse, let me get closer to the mic so you guys can hear me. But Rolo on YouTube had a question, and his question is, for when do we need to prepare for transcending?
right now.
Okay.
They're telling us that now is the time. They're not asking us to do this later. They're saying, hey, right now, we need you to elevate your consciousness. We need you to start recognizing that all of the things that we understand as life on Earth is connected to the same consciousness, and it's all here. They're all beings here for an experience in this place, and they're saying that we don't have the right to deny any other being its right to have its experience. And that's what we do when we take life here as we know it. We're ending an experience, and it just makes us worse and worse every time we do it. And they're saying, no more, stop. The things that we know as alive, that they share a consciousness, we have no right. It's what they're showing, like, you have no right to take that consciousness experience away. That it's an experience of the divine, and we don't have the right to end that. And they want us to honor that and understand that. And now, right now.
Okay. All right. So that was a great question, and appreciate you, Rolo, for doing that. We have one last question here on Clubhouse. Okay. And it's going to be Matthew. And Matthew has been on before. We actually interviewed Matthew Roberts. He's an author. And real quickly, I'll just hold up his book, guys, for those of you on YouTube. It's Initiated. And so he has a book. You can find it on Amazon already. Matthew has an incredible story. And if you missed it on our Clubhouse Live, I think it's due to show up on the podcast in the next few days. Everything is scheduled several days out. So you definitely want to jump in there and hear his story. But anyway, Matthew, you have a question. You're the last one here on Clubhouse. So go ahead and ask your question. Okay, Matthew, you there?
Oh no.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay.
I was trying to unmute.
All right, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I am so glad that Anjali came forward because I know that I'm not the only one now that is having experiences behind closed doors. And so I just wanted to say, Anjali, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for your courage to come forward.
And, we have a collection of people, and appreciate you, Matthew, that comes on Extraterrestrial Evidence and share their experiences. I'm trying to figure out maybe, give everybody some space, but maybe we'll do a round table where I have all of you guys up and kind of see, well, we can see how all of this is definitely, because what I'm hearing when I listen to all of you, and I interview a bunch, there's a lot of similarities. And so, and you all over here, somebody's over there, somebody's over there. So I don't think it's that is not a coincidence that you guys are having these experiences, but these messages are similar. And so that's something that I think to bring all of you together in one space. And we can probably do it live because I think I can get up to 10 people here on this camera, and nine people, include myself. And get you guys here to kind of go into that. So I think that'll be something we could do. What do you think about that?
I think it would be extremely helpful. Absolutely, very productive conversation. I would love that.
Okay, all right. So what we're going to do then is try to, go into. I think we have one last question that I'm going to do here on. Let's go with YouTube, and it's Gregory Bonds. Gregory is a regular on Clubhouse a lot as well, and he's pretty strong when he talks, when he gets down to religion and everything. So his question is, for those of you listening on Clubhouse, what do they say about God, Jesus, and other gods?
Well, I feel like we kind of addressed that earlier, Gregory. What I have understood is that there has been a misinterpretation or misunderstanding of humanity with respect to the beings that we're having contact with and that we've had contact with throughout human history. And there has been some sacred knowledge they're saying sacred knowledge lost, like things that we used to know that we forgot even as humans. And that because that knowledge has been lost, we have become even further, like deeper into our human experience and like binding ourselves to that human experience. So they're saying that a lot of our texts or divine texts have a mix of divine inspiration, messages in conscious contact, and human injecting human ideas and error, because we're fallible. We make mistakes, and so they're saying that we've just come in contact with beings that we just cannot understand, and because of that, we've called them many things, but that they have been in conscious contact and contacting people throughout human history, and that there have been those such as Christ and other mystics, such as Buddha, such as Muhammad. They had divine contact, and they did their best through their experience and their level of conscious awareness in communicating those very important lessons that they learned. And that's what they're showing.
All right, that's a great answer. And what we're going to do, guys, this is Roderick Martin. Because if you're listening for the first time, I am one of the founders here of Extraterrestrial Evidence, and we have a website magazine that we're working on, which is the extraterrestrialevidence.com. We are looking for people to contribute. If you author or like to write, you want a column on this particular website, we would definitely love to hear from you. If you want to email proof@extraterrestrial evidence, you can definitely do that as well. One of the things there on screen, you'll see the 800 number. If you want to take the time to get on our text list, we'll definitely be doing that as well. And then if you, Anjali, is there any particular thing you want me to scroll across for their information, or they just need to back channel you on Twitter and then you'll talk with them? Or
Yep, they can also they can go to Reddit to Transcension Project, and they can reach me at Anjali Angaya. Also on Reddit, I'm SpaceBetweenUs, so you can reach out to me there. Yeah, those are really good ways to
And what we're going to do now is, if any one of you in the comment section want to just give Anjali a toast of love, then we will do that in the remaining minutes, seconds here as we go. If any of you that's on stage here on Clubhouse, you can unmute your mic, and if you want to give some closing, no more questions, just thank her because it took a lot of courage to come here tonight. Believe that. And especially from her government past of, all of those things. So I know there's a lot of people out there that want to say things in different ways, but let me tell you something. I am so proud of you. And when we first met, this was not something on the agenda, and you was worried about your family and just everyone else. But today, here we are. And so with that being said, right across the screen there, you see
Peter.
There's a Rolo there saying thank you. And there's another one there saying thank you. And there's some much love there. Or we already showed that one, but let's go with Chip there. And there is another thank you and your courage appreciated. And I see you, and look, it's making you really emotional that these people are just, and guys, that's what it's all about. She's giving her heart and you're sharing it back. And it's just something there. And there you go, Mary. And Mary, and Mary is actually going to be Tuesday night. So we're going to be interviewing her. So definitely you guys chime in on Clubhouse because Mary is going to be talking about, her whole journey. And, she has hybrid children. She's written some children's book, her and Barbara Lamb. So we're going to go into a lot of great details. That's 8:30 Central on Tuesday coming up. And there's another thank you there. And there's another.
I just want to say it's really important that people come forward like you, Anjali, and talk in as much detail as you can because it's preparing the rest of us for a shift in consciousness. So thank you very much.
Yeah. So go ahead,
is it okay
Sean. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it all right? No, I just want to say, Anjali, thank you very much. I'm really happy that I lucked into this session today. And I want to tell you that I just sent you a message on Twitter inviting you, if you would like to do another session as a co-host with me at some point in the club that I'm on. And if you're comfortable with it, if you'd like to do that, then I'd like to offer myself as questioner, all right, for you and your contact, or for just you if you'd like.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. We have some free promotions there. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Nick.
I always laugh when those situations come, not in a negative sense, but why not? So definitely, and I'll be handling some of those things for you as well. So
I can help.
Yeah. So you guys definitely hit me on the back channel, and I am scheduling some of the things for her. So definitely, if you want to have her to take part of any of your shows or anything, just contact me on the back end, and she'll communicate with you, but I'm definitely the one that's going to be handling that for her. So just to help her out. So
very much.
There's Nick on the screen. He's saying he has love there.
So much for being here. I just love Nick.
And we have another thank you there. And so what we're going to do, I want to just really get to a point to say to everyone, this was a special night, and we're going to have plenty more. This is, we did integrate this audio with Clubhouse for the first time, and I think it went okay. We had lots of people here on Clubhouse listening that probably couldn't make it to the YouTube channel, and so that's something that I think we will do better at in the future, trying to integrate all of this. We got a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline. You do not want to miss a lot of disclosure, the stories, the experiences. I can't promise to tell you how this is all coming together. And when I began this in the beginning, I had no clue where we will be today, and the people and the relationships that I have met, especially starting with Alan, and then it just ping pong there, and then with you and Nick, and just, I mean, it's just so many people that my life, period, has not been the same. Has not been the same.
Isn't it wonderful? You were doing such brilliant work.
It is. I mean, there was people that I would watch on TV, now in my phone. Okay, there's people like Barbara I used to admire and say, "Wow!" Now we communicate daily. And Mary and all these people. It's just
new people, Roderick.
Yes, and so I'm truly blessed, but I am going to serve you guys. I'm going to serve you to the end, each and every one of you. That is my goal, to be a servant, and I will do that. And with that being said, It's been a plum pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege to each and every one of you. And you want to say goodbye to them as well?
I just would like to thank everyone for being here tonight and for hopefully coming with an open mind and an open heart. I hope to have contact with you in the future.
And we shall. And for those of you on Clubhouse, I appreciate you taking the time and listening. I know you probably want to see the visual, but it's going to be up on YouTube, so you can go back and watch it. And she's definitely has a face for TV, so you have to see her. She's so beautiful there. And so we will definitely do that. So with that being said, much love to you.
Much
and
love.
Thank you for taking the time and the courage for being here tonight. Good night.
Thank you. Good night, Roderick.